The date was September 14, 2007. To understand the disappearance of Andrew Gosden, you first have to understand the world he lived in. It was a time before smartphones were in every pocket. A time before omnipresent tracking apps. In 2007, it was still possible to step out of your front door and simply vanish into the static of the analog world. And that is exactly what Andrew did. He was a brilliant 14-year-old boy living in Doncaster, South Yorkshire. He was part of the Young Gifted and Talented program, a mathematician in the making with a bright future ahead of him. But Andrew was also complex. He was an introvert, a deep thinker, a boy who preferred the company of books and heavy metal music to large crowds. On that Friday morning, the Gosden household was waking up to a gray, autumnal sky. The routine was identical to every other weekday morning. Andrew woke up a little later than usual. He seemed slightly irritable, perhaps tired. His mother, Glenys, watched him eat his breakfast. His father, Kevin, said goodbye as he left for work. At 8:05 a.m., Andrew put on his school uniform, black trousers and a blazer. He picked up his satchel. He walked out the door. To any neighbor watching from a window, it was just a boy going to school. But Andrew stopped. Instead of walking to the bus stop, he diverted his path. He walked to a local park nearby and sat there. He waited. He watched the minutes tick by on his watch. He was waiting for his parents to leave the house completely. Once the coast was clear, Andrew stood up and retraced his steps. He walked back into his empty, silent home. We can only imagine the atmosphere inside the house. The silence of the rooms. The ticking of the clock. This is where Andrew made the choices that would seal his fate. He didn't rush. He didn't seem to be in a panic. He went to his room and removed his school uniform, leaving it draped over a chair. He put on his civilian clothes. Black jeans. And a black t-shirt featuring the heavy metal band Slipknot. This t-shirt would become the most identifiable clue in the massive search that followed. He packed his bag. He took his wallet, his keys, and his PlayStation Portable, his PSP. But then, he made a decision that baffles investigators to this day. His PSP charger was sitting right there. He didn't take it. Why leave the charger? If he was running away to start a new life, surely he would want his favorite device to keep working. Without the charger, the battery would die in roughly 4 hours. This suggests that whatever Andrew was planning, he didn't expect it to last longer than a single afternoon. He left the house for the final time. He walked to a nearby ATM machine and inserted his debit card. He withdrew £200. It wasn't a fortune, but for a 14-year-old in 2007, it was a significant amount of cash. Crucially, he left about £100 remaining in the account. Again, this points away from a runaway scenario. A runaway usually takes every penny they have. At 9:35 a.m., Andrew arrived at the Doncaster railway station. The station is a Victorian structure, busy with commuters heading south to London or north to Edinburgh. He approached the ticket window. The clerk looked at him. A quiet boy with long hair. Andrew asked for a ticket to London King's Cross. The clerk asked the standard question, "Do you want a return ticket?" The price difference was negligible. A return ticket cost almost the same as a single. But Andrew replied, "No. Just a single, please." He paid £31.40. He took the ticket. He walked to the platform. Why did he refuse the return ticket? Was it a declaration of intent? Did he know he wasn't coming back? Or was it simply the logic of a teenager who wasn't used to buying train tickets? Perhaps he didn't know which train he would catch home, so he thought he would buy the return ticket later. Or perhaps, he wanted to save that tiny bit of money for something else in London. He boarded the 9:35 NER service heading south. The train ride from Doncaster to London takes nearly 2 hours. It passes through the industrial landscapes of the Midlands, the green fields of Peterborough, and finally, the urban sprawl of North London. Witnesses on the train later reported seeing him. They described a boy sitting alone. Quiet. He was playing on his PSP, likely engrossed in a game, seemingly without a care in the world. He didn't look anxious. He didn't look like a boy running from trauma. He looked like a tourist on a day trip. At 11:20 a.m., the train slowed down as it entered the dark, cavernous shed of King's Cross Station. King's Cross is one of the busiest transport hubs in the United Kingdom. It is a place of constant motion. Thousands of faces blurring together. Andrew stepped off the train and onto the platform. He walked towards the exit. At 11:25 a.m., a CCTV camera positioned near the main exit captured him. The footage is grainy, low resolution, black and white. But it is unmistakably Andrew. He looks small against the backdrop of the massive station. He has his bag over his shoulder. He is looking around, perhaps checking the time, perhaps looking for a sign. But he doesn't look like he is waiting for anyone. He walks with purpose towards the glass doors. And then, he steps out onto Euston Road. The sun was shining in London that day. The streets were loud with traffic and pedestrians. And in that moment, at 11:25 a.m., Andrew Gosden walked out of history. That grainy image is the last confirmed sighting of him alive. Back in Doncaster, the alarm was raised slowly. The school assumed Andrew was sick and forgot to call his parents. His parents assumed he was at school. It wasn't until the evening, when he failed to return home for dinner, that the terrifying reality set in. His parents called the school. They called his friends. No one had seen him. The police were contacted. But here, the system failed Andrew Gosden. In 2007, the police protocols for missing teenagers were different. They often assumed that a 14-year-old boy had simply run off to a friend's house or was rebelling. Because of this, there was a critical delay. The police did not request the CCTV footage from London immediately. They focused their search on Doncaster first. By the time the investigation pivoted to London, 27 days had passed. This number, 27 days, is heartbreaking. Most CCTV systems in London operate on a 28-day loop. This means that footage is kept for 4 weeks before it is automatically overwritten by new recording. The investigators missed the window by mere days. Cameras on the buses Andrew might have taken. Cameras in the tube stations he might have entered. Cameras in the shops and fast food restaurants on Euston Road. All of that footage was gone. Erased forever. The trail went cold before the investigation even truly started. Without digital footprints, investigators were left with theories. Theory number 1, the concert. On the night of September 14th, the band 30 Seconds to Mars was playing at the Brixton Academy in London. Another band, Sick TH, was playing a farewell show at the Carling Academy. Andrew was a music fan. He owned t-shirts of rock bands. Did he travel to London to see a show? It's a compelling theory. It explains the one-way ticket, he wouldn't know when the concert ended. But there are holes in this theory. The venues were miles away from King's Cross. Andrew would have had to navigate the London Underground alone. And crucially, he didn't have a ticket. No ticket was found in his room, and no ticket was found on him. Would a shy 14-year-old boy travel 170 miles to a concert without a ticket, hoping to buy one at the door? Theory number 2, the grooming. Andrew was intelligent, but he was also young and potentially naive. Did he meet someone? His parents insist he didn't have internet access at home. But could he have used computers at school? Or at the local library? Police seized the hard drives from the school and the library. Forensic experts scoured them for any trace of a secret email, a chat room login, a forum post. They found nothing. If Andrew was communicating with a predator, he covered his tracks with the skill of a spy. Or, the communication wasn't digital. Could he have met someone in the real world? Someone at a gifted and talented summer camp. Someone at a music store. Someone who told him, "Come to London. I'll show you a good time." This theory is the most sinister. It suggests that Andrew didn't vanish by accident. It suggests he was hunted. Over the years, the silence from the case has been deafening. Then, in December 2021, came a bombshell. 14 years after he vanished, news broke that police had arrested two men. A 45-year-old man in London, and a 38-year-old man in a nearby town. The charges were kidnapping and human trafficking. Suddenly, the world paid attention again. Was this it? Was the mystery finally solved? The police seized electronic devices. They dug for evidence. For Andrew's family, it was a time of agonizing anxiety. They waited for months. Then years. And then, the crushing blow. In January 2024, the police issued a statement. The two men had been eliminated from the inquiry. There was insufficient evidence to link them to Andrew's disappearance. The investigation was back to square one. This case divides investigators and internet sleuths alike. We are left with a puzzle where the pieces simply do not fit. I want to know what you think. Do you believe Andrew intended to return home that day? Or do you think the one-way ticket was a sign of a plan we still don't understand? Leave your theories in the comments below. Sometimes, a fresh perspective from a viewer is exactly what is needed to see a detail that police might have missed. Let's discuss this respectfully, remembering that a family is still waiting for answers. So, where are we now? Andrew Gosden would be in his 30s today. He would be a man, likely unrecognizable from the boy in the photos. But there is one thing that hasn't changed. His ear. Andrew has a very specific physical trait. On his right ear, there are two ridges on the cartilage. It is a unique fingerprint of his anatomy. If he is alive, that ear is the key to identifying him. Is it possible he started a new life? Is it possible he is living in London, or Berlin, or New York, under a different name? Does he have a job? A partner? Does he remember Doncaster? Or did something terrible happen within minutes of him leaving that station? The River Thames runs through London. It keeps its secrets well. The sheer volume of people in the city makes it the perfect place to hide in plain sight. Maybe he didn't want to be found. Maybe the pressure of being gifted and talented was too much. Maybe he felt he didn't fit in this world, so he tried to find another one. But his family doesn't believe he would stay away this long by choice. They believe that if he could call, he would. The pain of not knowing is a specific kind of torture. It is called ambiguous loss. There is no funeral. No closure. No grave to visit. Just a question mark that hangs over every birthday, every Christmas. Every time the phone rings, there is a split second where his father thinks, is it him? This video is not just a story. It is a tool. Someone watching this might know something. Someone might remember a quiet boy in a Slipknot shirt in London in 2007. Someone might have seen a man in his 30s today who looks like the age progression photos. Look at the screen. Look at his eyes. Look at his ear. Do you know him? Andrew Gosden walked out of a station and into a mystery that has baffled the world for nearly 20 years. But mysteries are meant to be solved. Until we have an answer, the boy on the train is still traveling. Still waiting to arrive. Our goal with this channel is to ensure that names like Andrew's are never forgotten. If you believe in this mission and want to help us keep these stories in the spotlight, please subscribe and turn on notifications. The YouTube algorithm is powerful. Your like and your share could push this video to the one person who actually knows the truth. And if that person is watching, it is not too late to speak. If you have any information, no matter how insignificant you think it is, please contact Missing People or the South Yorkshire Police. The truth is out there. We just need to find it together. The Unseen Files 33. Gone doesn't mean forgotten.